Hey, welcome everybody. It's good to see everyone. Welcome to Connections. Welcome to Chicago. We're just thrilled that you're all here today. We're going to talk today about how WeWork is revolutionizing their lead management and inbound broker flows through Agentforce. You've been to a Salesforce event. I'd love any show of hands if you have not seen this statement. This is our safe harbor statement that any purchase decisions you make from Salesforce, make those on products that are generally available today. But first, I want to start with a thank you. This is year number 12 for me at Salesforce, and we couldn't be here without the support and partnership of all our customers, more specifically with WeWork and Loic and the work that you're all doing with us. We're really excited to showcase some of that with you all today. My name is Joey Brown. I'm the Enterprise Account Director with Salesforce. I'm responsible for the global relationship with WeWork. And Loic?
Yeah, so hi everybody, Loic Vienne. I'm heading up technology and digital product for WeWork. I'm very excited to be here and talk about the Agentforce project we're doing.
Awesome. So Loic, for those that don't know, that may be watching, tell us a little bit about WeWork.
Yeah, so I'm assuming most people know who we are. You've seen the TV, and now we are a very different company than we were about 10 years ago. We've restructured our business, yet we're still the leader in the market. We are in 39 countries, over 500 locations, in primary locations like Chicago, New York, and London. We are debt-free now, and our focus is on strategic growth. And the two main segments where we are focusing is large enterprise accounts who either are bringing back the employees, back after COVID and need flex spaces to do that, as well as 1 to 9 startups, technology startups who need spaces to grow with them as well. So the smaller side of the market is also one of our core focus, and some of the stuff we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, that's exciting. And one of the things, Loic, that after Dreamforce last year, when this little project called Agentforce came around, the WeWork team came to us with a statement from your CEO that said for the inbound leads that WeWork is consuming from their broker partners, that was all being done manual. And one of John's specific priorities was for those emails that are coming in, those leads that are coming in, we want to grab 100% of those immediately, not 2 days from now, not 5 days from now, but at the first traction. So tell us about that shift in priority for WeWork.
Yeah, and then back to back to the small startup customer base. This is really a focus for us, and we want to use technology to be able to acquire those leads and nurture them as well. We have about a dozen different inbound channels that we're using today, to our website, to Marketing Cloud as well. And the product we're going to talk about here is leads coming through brokers. So think of it the same way like you would buy a house or an apartment. You go through a broker who presents you with options. There is the same model in the co-working space, specifically in London. We have co-working brokers who work with their customers and basically engage a number of providers, including WeWork, to satisfy the need that they have.
Yeah. It was interesting. One of the heads of sales at WeWork had shared with me in London when we first took on this project that this has been going on for a while, and he promised me if we could do this in London, he was going to put my name on the building or build me a statue. We haven't gotten there yet, but why is this such a priority at WeWork with handling the inbound leads this way?
Well, so for the broker channel, again, it's a key source of leads for us in London, and today is very manual. Brokers, they're basically sending us an email saying to us and dozens of other providers saying, as you see the example here, my customer is looking for spaces sometime somewhere in London. Do you have anything available? And the reason why Agentforce was making perfect sense for this is because it's unstructured data. We're not able to change the behavior of those brokers, and they expect responses right away. So the issue we had with that channel today was extremely manually intensive. We had a number of SDRs on the mailbox trying to respond to those emails, kind of select which one they wanted to pursue. We had no visibility on the quality of those leads because we're not able to address any one of them. And obviously we were losing revenue and opportunities by not being able to answer to the right leads as well. So that was the situation in our London market, and that's what we started to pilot Agentforce with.
Yeah, it was really interesting to learn that, with WeWork and all the brand work and the revitalization of WeWork and the demand for flex office space, it just felt like this natural moment that we know that the spike in demand for flexible office solutions, hybrid office solutions that WeWork has, to be doing that in a manual way, there was kind of like this moment of how might we insert an agentic layer to handle those leads, process those leads, convert those leads, as opposed to increasing headcount, adding more bodies to it.
Right.
What were those internal discussions like at WeWork about this project specifically, of what it was you were trying to do with Agentforce to solve this problem?
Well, so I think again it was manual intensive, and we didn't really know the quality of those leads, right? So that was the key challenge that we were faced with. Also, this is not something we could put on a form, a contact me form, or through a process flow, as we discussed in the keynote this morning. It was really hard to change the behavior, and that's why we looked at different AI solutions, frankly, before looking at Agentforce. But the reason why we choose Agentforce is because of the integration to the leads and opportunity process in Sales Cloud, right? That allowed us to integrate rapidly, create the leads in Salesforce, and turn them into opportunities once they're meeting the criteria.
The other thing that I think might be helpful for the audience is the way these leads are coming in. There's structured data, there's unstructured data. And where your leads are coming from, there's PDFs with tons of information, an email that you might see here that's just a couple pieces of information. There was a lot of unstructured data flying around. What has Agentforce done in terms of kind of managing the data quality of what types of leads are performing well? What are the channels that are performing well? What are the regions that are performing well? Like, how are you all thinking about taking that data in with your partners in marketing and on the sales team to understand better about the leads that are coming in?
Yeah, so if you want to go to the next slide about some of the key achievements, the biggest thing, there was two major things for us. Is one, we actually had visibility over the channel, right? We knew exactly the quality of the leads that were coming in, what product they were interested to get, without changing the behavior of the brokers, right? For example, we have different size of offices that we are offering. We thought that was primarily the smaller office space, which is 1 to 9 desks, if you will. Turns out there was actually leads coming in from much larger office space, right? So those, we had no idea, and having this information allowed us to define a process to manage those larger opportunities, because those are much more high-value leads as well. The second thing is we were able to answer every single lead, right? Within 5 minutes, we were able to provide an answer back to the broker, asking for more information on what specifically they're looking for, their budget, the moving date, and the number of desks as well, right? And then a good chunk of our leads are actually able to qualify to an opportunity once we have this information without any human intervention, right? So this is a key benefit for us. The other thing as well is, with all the information, now a sales team can have monthly conversation with the brokers, with the data, to really improve the relationship, looking at all the leads they've sent us, the quality of those leads, and how we can work better with them as well and build a much stronger partnership as well. Yeah. So having the information available was a key success, right?
Yeah.
The intent was not to, we hope to get more revenue coming out of it, but the real intent was to get the visibility of the information and be able to have a real-time response and engagement with the broker.
No, that's great. That's great. One of the learnings that we had initially was we were asking for, I think in the early stages of the implementation, which took 6 weeks. We're very proud of that with our partners at Accenture that stood that up in 6 weeks. One of the learnings we had is there were 8 or 9 points of information we were trying to capture at first lead or at first touch. And one of the things we learned in the first couple of weeks was maybe we're asking for too much.
Right.
There was that back and forth with the agent. So now tell us how we've kind of shifted that to the 2 or 3 key points of information to get the lead in the right hands.
So it's true about the implementation, right? It was actually very quick. Accenture helped us out with the implementation as well. So that was a benefit. There was a number of learnings, right? So as Joey's mentioned, the main one, we went at it based on the manual processes, right? So we were asking for 8 points of data to be able to qualify the lead, because in the old world, that's what we want to make sure we have before humans start to engage, right? What we learn is with Agentforce, with AI, we don't have to have the same limitation on how much information we need. We can open up the floodgate, get more information, and then the AI agent is going to nurture these leads, get more information, and have a conversation with the broker. So that was a huge winning point that we learned from the pilot. I think the other key thing as well is, you heard this morning, right? It's all about the conversation. So we adjusted the email template, to make it more conversational with the broker, right? Because we've first look at it as a one-sided email like you normal do, but what we learned as well is if you change the template, have it more conversational, you have a much higher engagement from the brokers around, providing us the information as well. That's the feedback they gave us, and we were able to change the template pretty quickly as well.
And we know the response from the sales teams. Sales teams, they want the good leads, they want them quick, they want all the work done so they can go close the deal and move on to their next thing. But I'm curious about the response from the broker community. I think it was one thing that we had learned up front. We were scoping this with you all was brokers are a little bit set in their ways to a certain degree. What's the broker response been with interacting with the agents? Are they liking it? Is it making their job easier? Are they going around it? Like what's the general response been?
So bit of both, and there was definitely change management. And I think the other learning is when you start with a channel that you have trusted partner with, right? Don't go with the big bang. Don't go with the most important channel. Just start small, somewhere you can be able to tweak and learn. Those brokers, they want to talk to a real person, right? They're just trying to get away and says, hey, I really want to talk to a real person. And that's okay, but then with the data that we have, we can actually go back to them and say, hey, you're sending us all those leads, but there's not much coming out of it, right? So, work with us on this one, right? Give us better leads, and then we're going to give you a better relationship and that kind of stuff. So yes, they were trying to get around it, but now we have the data to have a conversation with them and saying, for some of them, the stuff you're sending us is not that great. So, unless you improve the quality of the leads, we're going to keep it that way.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they were okay with it. They understand. I mean, everybody knows this is the way the world is running, and they were very supportive of it. And also because they were able to get a response right away as well, there was something in it for them as well in the process.
It's a bit of an elevated level of change management because you have so many stakeholders along the way to.
And we are going back to them with training, telling them this is what we're doing, this is how you do, and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
There is some change management there as well.
No, that's great. That's great to hear. If we could talk a little bit about, we've kind of hit on, as we kind of near closing here, we've hit on some of the results that you all have seen. We know that we met the bell on capturing 100% of the leads and acknowledging the leads. What are some of the other results that you and the team are seeing just tangentially from what's happening with Agentforce?
I mean, this is huge, right? Before, sellers were picking and choosing the lead they were working from in the mailbox. All the information is in Salesforce now. Leads gets created. We have within 5 minutes response time right away through the email. So that was good. And I think the other ones we talked about that, right? We can use this data to build better engagement with the brokers. They appreciate that as well, and then allows us to have stronger relationship with them, and over time get better leads. I think we also learned we had no idea what was coming through this channel, and we learned the kind of opportunities for the kind of product that was coming through this. And there are some untapped opportunities there, as I mentioned earlier, for some of our larger product set, which is better product for us to be serving as well.
That's been my observation as well. One of the things that we learned early on in the relationship with WeWork mid last year was WeWork's sort of special sauce is put your hands on our product. And we did some secret shopping as we were getting familiar with the account. And when you walk into a WeWork, it feels different. So it's interesting to think about where the agentic, where AI might fit into how you're grabbing new members, retaining those members, engaging those members. All that to say, what's next with AI at WeWork?
Well, so we're still tweaking that, right?
Yeah.
I think, hopefully we can start to expand this to other markets. We are present, as I mentioned, in 39 countries. So language is going to play a key role there, and we know that technology is going to allow us to have the same conversation in different languages. As Joey mentioned, one of our key part of our sales process is to bring the prospect into our space, because this is a differentiator. We believe our space is one of the greatest offering on the planet. So we are looking to integrate AI into our tool schedule that's running on Salesforce. So as the opportunity gets converted, the last step is to book a tour so the person can come and see it. So we're hoping to be able to have AI directly do this as well, without human intervention as well. And then we're potentially looking at other channels as well. But I think this one is a real sweet spot, back to the fact that we mentioned earlier, that it's unstructured data, it's highly manual intensive, and we think that AI play a perfect role for that.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. I like to tell Loic and the team that I spend more time in your towers than I do in our towers, which they're a worse worst places to work than there. I'm really appreciative of the partnership. That's going to wrap what we've got today. If you've got any questions or comments, Loic and I will be kind of hanging out after the fact. But thank you for everyone for attending. If you do get a chance, scan the QR code. We're big on feedback around here. We'd love to hear your feedback to make these sessions even more impactful in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.